As many know, we've been working very closely for the past, I would say, 2-3 years now with the PCIA in efforts for state wireless facilities legislation, which is now called the broadband co-location effort. As many know, California, Florida, North Carolina, Hawaii, Tennessee, I'm not sure if Alabama had it passed, have pretty much state wireless facilities legislation in their state where if they're co-locating on an existing facility, they no longer have to go from local zoning boards. They file a building permit and then they get the permit and they can build a site. Some states are a little bit different, but that's pretty much the gist of it. So we decided here in New Jersey it should be pretty important to do because out of 566 municipalities you get 566 different wireless ordinances. And we all know how difficult and painful that could be, especially for co-locations. So Bob and I started this probably about 2 or 3 years ago with a grassroots effort reaching out to the New Jersey Chamber of Commerce, received their support, received support from the carriers and said, hey, here's our idea, help us come to, come up with a draft for a bill for legislation. And it's like I said, it's about 2 or 3 years in the making, and we've been very successful to date.
And a lot of support from PCIA.
A lot of support, tremendous amount of support from the PCIA, Brian Regan and Mike Saperstein, who's no longer there. So right now we're working with Brian Regan on this topic. And they've hired a lobbyist, Mary Kay Roberts from Riker Stanzik out of Trenton. And currently right now we have Assemblyman Shivakula as our sponsor. And it's been through Office of Legislative Services with some minor changes, which we might see some more. They're hoping to put that in front of committee in May. So I'm hoping maybe within the next year we'll be able to get this into a form of a bill.
Well, Stacey's right. This has been a long-term process, and as a zoning manager for Verizon Wireless, I saw a lot of the issues that were facing the various municipalities within the state of New Jersey. And they quite frankly just got sick of hearing cases where it was going to be a colo on the tower, which is in essence what this bill is about. It's not trying to go around the requirements for a new tower. And a lot of the towns, we'd show up with 4 or 5 experts, unlike a lot of the other states because of the home rule that Rob Ivanoff had spoke about before. And it's always give us the quick version. And in some cases, maybe only the engineer spoke, and we were done in 5 or 10 minutes. And Stacie has even some stories of her own where engineers from Howell Township, Red Bank, had come up and asked her, help us with our ordinance to make it a little bit more streamlined. Thankfully, one of the towns or cities in New Jersey that gave us our sort of blueprint of how to go about this was actually Jersey City, that had one of the easier ordinances to deal with in the state of New Jersey. It wasn't just a straight out by rights, all right, here's your building permit to locate on a tower. It gave there was a review committee that was headed up with their engineer, planner, and a couple of the planning board members. And if you met certain criteria that were easy criteria to meet, because again, there are some towns that do actually have permitted zones, but you have to have everything be absolutely perfect. In other words, a blue moon. And Jersey City was the best one that we utilized for the footprint of our ordinance, or I'm sorry, our legislation. Jersey City is also one of the bigger cities in New Jersey, so it sort of kind of went hand in hand that we would use their ordinance. And in fact, Newark, soon thereafter, adopted a lot of the provisions that the Jersey City ordinance has. So that's where we're at right now, and we do have a lot of great support. The League of Municipalities is a great area where we get a lot of the different municipalities that do stop by the booth that Stacie spoke about earlier and ask us questions how to make things easier. We've been using that over the last year, and then to the next year when we go in November to say, hey, here's legislation, we'd love your support, because it's not going to be our state assembly or our senators in the state of New Jersey. It's going to be all of the individual planners and engineers and mayors and town councilmen and planning board and zoning board members that's really going to make a difference.